Okay, yes, we're live. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the first Finance and General Purpose Committee meeting for Horsham Town Council. Just got a couple of housekeeping announcements first. Please note the location of the fire exits, and in case of a fire, please leave by the nearest exit, and we assemble in the car park. Please make sure your mobile phones are switched to silent and any other devices you have with you. And please note that the meeting is being live streamed and recorded as well. Thank you. Okay, so the first item on the agenda this evening is to elect a chair. Do I have any nominations for chair for this committee, please? Oh, Councillor Boffey.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Nick Robbins, please.
Thank you. And anyone prepared to second that? Thank you, Councillor Fletcher. Any further nominations? No. In that case, is everybody happy to raise your hand if you approve and unanimous? Agreed. Thank you.
What's the etiquette at that point?
Thank you, Councillor Robbins. Congratulations.
We'll station on this side now.
Thank you. It's your agenda there. Okay. Over to
me now.
Yes.
And again, obviously, I'm learning the ropes, so feel free to nudge me as we go through the process. But
no problem.
So second item, apologies for absence received, Clerk.
Yes, thank you. So we have apologies from Councillor Chris Frank, who has a professional commitment. Councillor Albro has a professional commitment. Councillor Makin has a personal commitment, and Councillor Thompson has advised he will be here late. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yep. So on to item 3, declarations of interest.
Yep. And we're asking if members have any.
Do any members have any declarations of interest to declare?
I don't think so.
No, none.
Say if they come to mind.
Okay, thank you. That's none. Okay.
Okay, thank you. So number 4 on the agenda is public participation. So we've got 20 minutes for this, but I think
yeah, no request, Chair, and nobody present. Okay. So
far, so good. All right. So item 5 on the agenda is the finance update. So I understand this is for awareness and information. Clark, would you like to take us through it?
Thank you. Yes. So I've just done, obviously it's a short report for the first committee meeting because we've only just got the precept receipt and the bank account opened. So I do have the first list of transactions ready for approval at full council next week. I've just pointed out the software is now implemented as operational. The bank accounts opened and the system is now ready to record income and expenditure as transactions commence. These arrangements support your responsibility for financial management and controls. Obviously, limited financial activity at the moment. We have received 50% of the precept, which is £94,287.50. And there is no expenditure to report this time because we haven't had the payment schedule approved by full council. And the approved budget has been loaded onto the accounting system as well. So the next committee meeting, you'll be able to see a report giving you that. The actual income that's anticipated is another 50% of the precept, and I'm advised by the district that will be at the end of September. We'll get that. The allotment income, I have put the request through to the district, and one of the officers is looking at how much they've received since the 1st of April. So any receipts that have come into the district since the 1st of April will be sent to us. So obviously information will come to this committee when we receive that. The schedule of payments, I think it was half a dozen. I've prepared those, and it's a bit glitchy at the moment with the system, so apologies. The descriptions didn't all come out on the printout, so I'll have to play with that. But those listed payments are going to have 2 more added to them for next week for full council. And that's where the authorisation will take place. There will also be a request next week for 2 councillor signatories to be agreed. So we know in June and July who those councillors are going to be, who are going to be approving the payments. So please, when everyone's asked next week, if you bear in mind, if you're on holiday for a month, you don't want to put yourself forward to do the authorising. And also, this is in line with the committee's responsibility for the financial oversight and internal control. And the controls will be implemented immediately because we've got all the financial regulations and everything else in place. And so, yeah, just next steps, we're saying receipt of initial income. So hopefully we get some of that allotment income in. We've got the agreed payment authorisation procedures in place. And obviously for the next meeting, I'll have a sort of financial monitoring report for you. I mean, it won't be very much to report, but there will be something. So at least you'll be able to see the format of that as well. So I'm asking you to note the current financial position, note the schedule of payments that will be taken to full council next week, and recommend to full council that the payment authorised signatories will be confirmed at that meeting next week. Thank you. Any questions? I'm happy to answer.
Councillor Boffey?
Just regarding the 2 signatories.
Yes.
So obviously quite a lot of us are set up on the bank account now. So is this on a monthly basis?
Yes.
It's who's on the hook this month, and it rotates around. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and it is just to allow for, you know, people on holidays or not well. Or it means then that I, as the RFO, as well, know who I'm sending the information to, and yeah.
But does that mean that then if something happens during the course of the month, do you have to actually set that up in the system and say that only these 2, or is that mainly these are the first 2 people you go to?
These are the first 2.
But
there is
flex. In extremis, you can go to somebody
exactly,
else. Okay,
exactly.
fine.
Yeah, it just helps to make the smooth running of rather than me having to you know contact lots of people and Okay, thank you.
Councillor Fletcher?
Just wanted to ask a question. We've noted the allotment income.
Yes.
We haven't, that I know, made any specific provisions, but allotment expenditure, which I imagine tends to be sort of project-based and quite lumpy. But I wanted to check how we would make ourselves aware of what might be coming up.
Yes. So before I came formally to the town council, obviously I was working for the district council, I did have meetings with the officers about the allotments, and the proposal is, when I was speaking to the officer, that the contract that's in place at the moment will continue, and then the idea being that the town council can then pay the proportion that for the 7 allotment sites. So that conversation has started, but I haven't got all the figures yet because I haven't had an opportunity to have another meeting with him. But that is the proposal, and he had to go to a more senior officer to make sure that that was in agreement. But that was what has been discussed to date. If not, I have got 3 contractors that I am aware of. I have contacted and asking them to quote as well. But I was told that there wouldn't be anything immediately needed doing. It would be sort of later in the year.
Okay, so I don't actually still have any understanding of what that's likely to encompass in terms of works or money. I don't need to know instantly.
Yes,
but
it's in the budget. Yeah. It's approximately £4,000 is what I was told. So the income I was advised is approximately 16,000, and there should be expenditure of approximately £4,000. And it was some hedge cutting and grass cutting. That's the sum of it. I have got that information. If you want me to share that, would that be helpful?
I think, well, we'll need to work out.
Exactly. But I can bring that as a report. I can bring that as a report for the next committee meeting. Yeah, to give you more detail. Okay.
Just to ask, so is that essentially probably an apportionment out of the grounds maintenance contract that they have for all the...
Yes.
So parks have... It's outsourced essentially to ID Verde, and maybe they're just essentially at the moment they're recharging as an element of that in relation to the allotments, probably for the remainder of the time that they're on the grounds maintenance contract.
Yes.
Because essentially they're all managed by societies and stuff, so presumably
They are.
other running costs per se of those sites essentially are picked up by the
Yes.
the societies.
Yeah. Yeah, this is sort of the communal areas
Yeah.
where but yeah, apparently it's not a huge amount of work, but it is obviously scheduled and it's part of the contract that's been set up, the bigger contract.
Would it be possible for us where, and I assume this could be typical of arrangements that may be available to the town council to take advantage of larger scale contracts that this
Yes.
council has.
Yes.
But I wonder whether, as you've already put the work in, I wonder whether it would be worth checking the price so we know that we can just assure ourselves that that is actually best value.
Absolutely.
And also that assures us in case there's any changes following LGR.
Yeah, of course.
That
Yeah.
would be a point. I also have a question, if that's all right, Chairman.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm aware that the neighbourhood council's special charge was raised and was paid this year. That money I'm aware of is normally is channeled through the district council, and with agreement with the neighbourhood councils, that money is spent in particular ways. Would it be possible for that to be summarised in a future report for us to be able to see? I know we have no ability to access that money, and it's probably all been spent and with no residue. But bearing in mind we're looking at next year and looking to build the budget for next year, it would be very useful for us, I believe, Chair, to actually know what that sum of money has been and what it's currently being spent on.
Yeah, I think I do have that info, or I did do when I was on the district council laptop. But I'll have a look. If I haven't, I know where I can get it. But I just want to be a word of caution to everybody. We have no access to that money. And from my understanding, we won't be having any access to that money, is what I've been advised. But I'm happy to get all the information and share that with you all. And yeah.
I think my request, Chair, is focusing on the fact that very soon, as our clerk has pointed out, we'll need to be looking at building the budget for next year and what our obligations are, what the expectations are that previously have been met by the neighbourhood councils in particular. So I personally would like to have a heads up on that, so I can be effective in actually looking at what that might mean for us going forward.
It's more about understanding what the future might look like,
Exactly.
rather than necessarily about accessing those funds at this point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
It isn't about accessing it now, it's about.
Okay.
Evening, Councillor Thompson.
Evening.
No, you're not.
If it's helpful in any way, that the information that backs that, some of it is very firm and solid and transparent, and some of it is a little more vague and intangible. But I'm sure, because I've seen the sheet, and so, but yeah, by all means, get hold of it, share it now with them.
Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay.
Can we do a quick recap for Councillor Thompson? Just welcome.
Yes. Hello.
We're item 5 of the agenda, just in the finance update. Just for
Yes,
awareness.
yeah, it was just the report. I've shared the report with everybody and everyone. I had a few questions, so we've covered that. But if you want to, the recording's happening, so if you wanted to have a look back. Okay.
So I think, there's no need for a decision on that one, is there? So we can move on. Everyone's okay?
Do we need to vote on the recommendation?
Oh, sorry, yes, there is a recommendation on that one. Yes. Yeah,
Recommendation to go to
the payment authorisation signatories are confirmed at the meeting next week for council.
Yeah.
Thank you. Does anyone like to propose?
proposal. Yeah.
Council. Thank you. And second, so is there anyone to say? Oh, Councillor Fletcher. Yeah. Thank you. You all in favour?
Yeah.
All in favour? Move to vote.
Thank you. Lovely. Thank you. There you go.
Okay, so moving on to item 6 on the agenda, the reimbursement of the office costs. So again, there's a report, Park,
Yes.
and a decision to be made at the end of this as well.
Yes, there is. Thank you. I don't know if all of you won't all be aware, but the setup was actually instrumental and facilitated by the district council. That included finding an office and actually making sure it was available before the elections. So there was a month's rental cost had to be met by the district council. And they did discuss with me at the time. Obviously, the Shadow Council had no authority to sanction expenditure, but they did mention to me at the time, if it's a possibility, I would bring a report to the council, after the election and seek reimbursement. So that's what this report is all about. I've laid out the background, the position. Now, obviously, the bank account's open. We can meet financial responsibilities. And it is part of the budget that was set. Money funds were there, so it is literally a straight reimbursement request. And I did attach as well the remittance advice for you, so that you can see the district council had confirmation that they've met that first month's rental cost. So the one little irritation is that we won't be able to claim the VAT on this because, unfortunately, it's not our. It wasn't our invoice. They paid it in their name, and so, so it was just obviously you haven't got delegation authority for this sort of decision because this is a retrospective payment, and it's also involving another public authority. But I wanted to bring to the committee to explain the situation to you, and hopefully then you would be happy to recommend to the council that the town council reimburses the district for the first month's rental. Payment will be made upon receipt and verification of an appropriate invoice and supporting documentation, and the payment will be processed following the agreed financial authorisation procedures of the council. Thank you. Is there any questions?
Any questions?
Just a linked question really around it. I understand the situation on the VAT, but what's our normal situation on VAT? On what basis are we able to reclaim input tax and how?
Yes, there's a special, because we're a local authority, there is, it's a VAT 126 form.
Okay.
And basically we can claim the VAT back on most of our expenditure, the majority of it. So it's usually done quarterly, depending on, because you can't really do it for, £50. You have to obviously have but you'll be looking, when you get the financial reports, it will keep a tally on how much VAT we're accruing that we will be able to recover. And as soon as that hits a certain amount, usually about £300 or £400, then quarterly, or if it's saying you're not getting to £400 in a quarter, then you maybe wait 6 months, but it would be recovered during the year.
Okay. And obviously it's incredibly early days for us and there's not that many functions, but what responsibilities, if any, are we likely to have to ever actually charge any output tax on anything?
Yeah, you won't at the moment. If you were looking but if you were looking at services, maybe you owned a property and you were hiring out for weddings or things like that, then VAT comes, because as soon as if you're just hiring a space and no services with it, you're okay. But as soon as you provide a service, then I mean, I don't think it'll be for at least a year, but obviously, but if you start acquiring assets and you have opportunities, say wedding venues and things, sports centres or something, or then that would come into play. But at the moment it won't.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? So happy to move forward to decision. Proposer.
Councillor Franklin, thank you.
And a seconder.
Councillor
Councillor Thompson.
Thank you.
And to vote.
All in favour?
Unanimous. Yeah.
Thank you. Brilliant. That's number 6.
Okay, so moving on to item 7 on the agenda, council allowances. Again, decision to be made here.
Thank you. And so obviously, there has been discussions the Shadow Council about council allowances, and there is provision in the budget for this year for paying councillor allowances. So I wanted to come to the Finance and General Purposes Committee first to let you have a debate about the principle and the potential financial implications of introducing councillor allowances, and with a view that you make a recommendation to full council. If you don't feel comfortable this evening with the information you have, I'm more than happy to go back and get some further details for you for next month. And then obviously with a view to, I'm looking to take this to full council in the next 2 or 3 months, hopefully before the summer, just so we know really then what's happening with the budget as well. I've laid out the legal context, so there's no issue with paying it. And I think helpfully Councillor Boffey did reach out to me because he was looking at locally how many local councils in the area, and it was approximately 50%. It was three local councils currently do pay allowances. 4 didn't, but there was one that pays their chair, which obviously you can do that. You can just pay the chairman. So that's useful to know. I think that was useful information. Obviously, it's a matter for full council, as I've said, but I just think that'd be useful for you to have the first discussion. I laid out as well, because I think people do get a bit confused. We've got an independent remuneration panel with the district, but we've also got and I can never, it's PRP, isn't it? PRP. Thank you. Yes, parish women. Now that doesn't meet very often. They actually met in, I think it was 2008, and I did share the report. So that's not likely to meet anytime soon, but they do have the IRP that does meet, and that actually met in February 2025. And I do know that at least one of the other local parish councils relied on that report and went with recommendation. It was really laying out all the information for you. Hopefully it's been helpful, but if anyone has any further questions or wanted a bit more time until next month to discuss it, I'm more than happy for that as well.
Thoughts, questions?
I'll kick off with
Yeah,
general comments rather than a sort of solid conclusion. So nobody who was elected to this council came in the expectation they'd definitely be getting allowance or expenses. So I don't think we need to be bound in that way.
Yeah.
But I think we need to be really mindful that some people may need to have some form of some payment in order to cover incidental expenses, whatever it's doing. Maybe it might be babysitting, it might be sort of admin costs, it might be travel costs or whatever. So in my view, we shouldn't be excluding people from participating in the future who might be on a tight budget and for which making this cover its costs was an important consideration. It seems to me much more straightforward to have an allowance that you just do than to try to manage expenses on an ongoing basis, because on what is this allowable, is this not allowable, what percentage of it? It just seems like an administrative burden to do that. So I think a straightforward allowance is sensible, and the approach of taking it as a proportion of the independent remuneration panel's recommendation, although it might sound somewhat arbitrary as to what that number is, because we don't really know what our duties are going to encompass in the future, that has the merits of being quite straightforward. And the number that it comes out with, which was 637, I think, looks like a sensible number. Obviously, there will be people in the community who feel that this should be done as public service, but I think I've explained why I think there should be an ability for people to claim expenses, and to note that we don't have to claim that money, so anyone who feels they don't want it is able to not take it. So I think that was really my... Oh yes, I was going to support the idea that it's not clear that the chair should be having a different level of allowance from other people, because again, in terms of the volume of work, yes, the chair might be the busiest person, but they might not. It might be a chair of another committee or something else. So I think that would be... It's difficult to see how that's justified. I had one question, which is the practicalities of if council vote to go ahead with this.
Yes.
When do they get paid?
I was proposing quarterly, which will be in the report when it goes to full council, because it can be done through the payroll provider. So that means then quarterly as well is,
Quarterly in arrears.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Okay, that's,
Yeah.
that's sensible.
yeah.
Councillor Franklin?
Yeah, I'm pretty much in line with Ruth here. I think when it comes to incidental expenses, the administration of that is, it's just a lot of work. It's not only for the person claiming the expenses, but for the managing the whole thing. I think there might be particular expenses that arise if someone needs to go somewhere for a training session or a training program, which incurs significant travel, accommodation costs, and that sort of thing. So I think that we could manage through this, but I wouldn't advocate, everyone having that. I would advocate that that the allowance is seen as covering the expenses and some remuneration for taking up the role.
Okay, thank you.
Any other views, questions?
Just really in terms of any interaction with any expense policy or whatever, I think there's I think I agree with Tony really on that, in that it's kind of better to not really have to do it for every little thing here and there, which of course only then sort of works if everyone takes the same approach. And I think it's basically just sort of an honesty system of that, right? Because I think really my suspicion is that at this level we should either do expenses or allowances, but not both, unless, as Tony says, it's something significant, like if it's attending a conference or something and it costs quite a lot to do that, then that's a different kettle of fish. But on the general sort of day-to-day, week-to-week things, not really. So I think it's very much the case here of, as I said, really, it's more about kind of having a system or a process in place for those almost who aren't here but might be in the future, and not setting up a barrier, rather than actually doing anything particularly for the people who are on the council now. My particular circumstance is such that I'll be honest, I probably wouldn't claim it, but that's just because of my other role. There's already quite a bit coming on the public purse there, so I wouldn't do it. But I wouldn't want my situation to kind of impact on anybody else's position, because others are in a different situation. So I favour having the allowance there, and then members taking their own decisions as to whether they take it or not.
Yeah, makes sense.
Just had a question that Tony raised, the issue that there might be unusual individual expenses, but we wouldn't be able to just pay an expense if we hadn't pre-authorised it specifically at council. So it was really just to seek your guidance on whether we should be looking for it is possible to claim expenses, and then how do you stop somebody saying, I'd like to put this biro on my expenses, or whether you would recommend that if, an example that Tony said, like training, whether that you'd think that those sorts of expenses could come out of the parish budget rather than out of the councillors.
Yes, with training, for instance, usually that would come out of the council's training budget. So you wouldn't be expected to pay for your own training, then claim that money back. It would be something that would be booked through the council and paid by the council. But something like a conference, for instance, I mean, that if it was overnight accommodation, for instance, it might be, I've had it before where I worked, the chair was going away on an out conference, he booked his own accommodation, then the council agreed that he would be paid for the travel costs and the accommodation, because it ran into a few £100s.
So that was a specific.
It was a specific, but it was a council. Yes, exactly. It was pre agreed, and then But what I will do once you've had the decision, if you do opt for the council allowances, there is going to be an expenses policy as well come to council. So, but it's just really making sure that we factor in everything. Yes, we don't have to look at the policy twice. So that's why I've waited with that one. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Councillor Thompson? Yeah.
If we just go down sort of the budget line of claiming for larger expenses, would there be like a minimum setting? Because what we don't want to allude to, which is saying not saying a word, but I've kept all my receipts for 500 biros, which I've done for £120 rather than doing one individually, but actually having a limit to say if it's above this, then yes, it needs to be approved.
Yeah, it definitely, I mean, this year there isn't any funds for anything really in, you know, you've got contingency, but, you know, but going forward, say all training, anything that should be pre-approved and, you know, the Human Resources Committee should be aware of it. If it was a conference, you're going to know a few months in advance, you know, so there shouldn't be anything really. And if members wanted, I mean, if they were taking the allowance, I think personally, in my opinion, you won't want to do small expenses like people, like you say, claiming for a ream of paper or something, because that should all come from your allowance.
Yes.
So I think in the expenses policy, we can be prescriptive and make sure that, but what you wouldn't want someone doing as well is saving up 6 months of receipts and because that would mess with the budget as well. So.
Any final questions or points, or have to move to decision?
I just have one record. I support
Yeah.
the views that have been expressed.
Yeah.
I think I understand the need to think ahead, and also to facilitate the widest possible range of people being able to take part in the council in the future. So I fully support that decision.
Okay.
Looks like we're going with option B on the sample resolution options.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy to propose option B.
Option B. Thank you.
Thank you. And seconder? Councillor Fletcher?
Thank you.
And take it a vote then?
Yeah. Okay.
Unanimous?
Yep, unanimous. Thank you very much. Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, so on to item 8 on the agenda. So speed indicator device update for awareness.
Thank
Mark.
you. So yes, just to note the progress on the speed indicator devices. As you know, full council on the 19th of May, the 1-year maintenance contract was approved and delegated to me in consultation with the chair to agree looking into the licensing arrangements. So I've now got all the draft licenses agreed with West Sussex County Council, and I also had the support of one of the officers at HDC in the legal team, so she's been really helpful as well. So just to let you know, the maintenance contract is in place. The first visit is scheduled week commencing the 8th of June. Licence negotiations, I say, all completed under delegated authority, and the draft licence agreements we now have from the County Council, and I did attach those for you. I know there's quite a few. And then there is provision in the budget for the maintenance, so we're happy there. So I've just recommended you note the progress made under delegated authority, and that you are happy to approve the signing and returning of the licensing agreements with West Sussex County Council. Thank you.
Any questions, anybody? Councillor Fletcher?
I'm very happy with the financial recommendation there. I just wanted to really note that probably for another forum, we need to work out how we as a council are going to be managing the SID devices, whether the data they generate is going to be downloaded by the maintenance.
Yes, it is. It is. So I'll bring a report. Once they've done that visit, they're going to share that with me, and I'll bring that to the Finance and General Purposes Committee once I've got that.
And to consider whether we want to either amongst ourselves or with in cooperation with members of the public from Speedwatch or whatever, whether we want to actually have sort of like a point of contact within at a council level on speed indicator devices, because I feel that might be useful.
Yes, thank you. Brilliant.
Any other questions?
Well, yeah, just picking up on that really. Again, it's more general purposes than finance, but there is some really good knowledge and experience amongst neighbourhood councils of this and
Yes.
things it interrelates with, such as TROs and speed watch and other things.
Yeah.
It seems kind of right to me for a sort of a kind of a joint working group of potentially having some members of the council on it, but some non-members or co-optees or whatever to sort of do some
Yeah.
thinking about how we manage and use this information and what initiatives
Yeah.
the community would like to see going forward. Is that something that would go through sort of policy and resources, or setting up of it, instigating, or is that something for this committee? I'm not sure under that model.
To be honest, I mean, because it's an asset as well, I think it would be better sitting in this committee.
Okay.
And then you'll, like you say, a working group sounds really sensible idea. You can harness then hopefully the expertise and people that have the experience and know, very well, because I'll be truthfully honest, when I see some data come through, I probably won't know what I'm looking at. So it would be helpful, wouldn't it, to have people that are well versed.
Yeah, and Colin Bush and Graham Sitton immediately come to mind.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, thank you, that's good.
Is that something you want to move forward with then?
Yeah, I think so. It's just a case of how we do it.
I guess that's the question. How do we not lose that as an idea?
Okay, and so I can do a report for the next committee to give you sort of the process and then we can talk it through, debate it, and and then you could maybe take the next step and approach people. Because I'm not too keen to do it this month.
Of course, no, that's okay.
Thank you.
No, it's really more of just an understanding of how we start these things and how we take them forward, rather than a specific necessarily to this one. I sort of know what I would do in other places, but I would do things the right way here.
Of course.
Definitely feels like there's an opportunity for us to start mobilising and doing something in that space.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. Take as an action.
Any final questions on the speed indicator devices? No? So,
There's some recommendations there.
Yes, there is, yes. So note the progress made under the delegated authority and approve the signing and returning of the licensing agreements with West Sussex. So I will be signing them on behalf of the town council, and I do need somebody to witness that. So I'll reach out maybe to Councillor Olsen or somebody that's around tomorrow, if I can get them done tomorrow. If not, I'll wait till next week. But I'm keen to get those off then. But as I say, they've all been checked by the legal team at the district, and I've had conversations with the officer at West Sussex as well. So
I'm around.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Brilliant.
How's this one?
Okay,
Councillor Fletcher. Yeah. Second.
Yeah, go on
Councillor Franklin. Thank you.
and then to vote.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Full house.
Yes. Okay.
So move to close, is it then? Or?
Yes, unless you wanted to add anything.
Nothing.
Not on the
Do you have
agenda,
AOBs,
no,
or?
that's a normal thing.
No, you don't have any other business. Yeah, you don't. It's you do stick to what's on the agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
You can have AOBs after the agenda's closed then.
Yes, I would like to.
Yes.
Just having a discussion, maybe about that. Okay, in which case,
You closing the meeting?
bring the meeting to close. Next meeting, 7th of July.
Thank you very much. So we'll close the meeting at 7:09. I'll stop the live stream.